Hello, hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to the reading today. So congratulations, you have clicked on the reading. I know the title was probably going to put some people off. That wasn't the intention, but I wanted to make sure it was going to be a reading that reached people that were open to receiving this kind of message. This message isn't going to be harsh or anything like that. This is really about our incarnation and our abilities and our connections with family, our connections with people, all that kind of stuff, I guess, is how this one's going to come through. My real intention behind the message of It's Not All About You is really to talk to why are certain relationships that come into your reality happen? Why are you fine with a majority of people and then with other people you get into ego or you get triggered really easily? Is it because of them? Is it because of you? Is it a combination of both? Is there a purpose? An example could be parent. Why do I have such an issue with this parent but not this other parent? Is it because of the way they treat me? Why are they treating me like this? Is it about me, or is it about something that they're processing or dealing with? Or is it a combination? Did you have a conversation with that particular soul and come down and incarnate in a way that was going to trigger these things so that you both could move on from something in your way and in their way? Why are we in this particular collective? Why did I pick this country? So it could touch on many different things. It's going to be quite open. That's what I'm talking about. It's not all about you, because we're all one. We're all part of one community. We're all part of one planet. One collective. Even if you identify as starseed or anything like that, right? That's part of your collective, but you're also here, so this is part of your reality in this moment. And so that's really where this reading is going to go to. So it could be quite open, but I think it's going to help with incarnations. From what I can envision is incarnations, and why do I have certain attributes towards these people, this thing? Why am I connected to this? You know, it's going to touch on many different things with regards to that. So I hope that clarifies. I'll put also a little writing under with like a question that will hopefully clarify what this reading is going to be really about, or at least guide it into a direction that makes sense. Because you're definitely here for you, but also some people's incarnations are here for other people as well. You know, there's a give and take. There's like a web, rather, of why we incarnate here. Friendships here, not friendships there. So-called rivals here, loved ones here. You know, all that kind of stuff. It's all much intertwined, rather than I'm kind of player one and everyone's here to support on this kind of thing, and this person's their player one and all these people are here to support them. It's not quite like that. That's too... You know, that's probably the toxic side of a God complex type thing. All right, so with that being said, let's pick some piles for you today. All right. These will be the 3 piles for you today. So pile 1, you have the angel Amitiel and the blue Obsidian with Revelation. Okay. For pile number 2, you have the Ascended Master Mary Magdalene and Aqua or Quartz with Divine Alchemy. And pile 3, you have the angel Caliel and Polychrome Jasper with Sacred Play. All right, now just read the numbers down the bottom too, just in case if that helps you pick. This one is Crystal Angels 444. This one's Crystal Masters 333. And again, we have Crystal Angels 444. All right, so I hope that explanation helps with picking. Trust your intuition though. Pick whichever pile or piles call to you, and you can jump straight into the video down in the description. I'll leave the links so you can skip all this and go straight to your video, but I'll give you probably about 5 seconds after this of silence so you can pick, but if you need to pause it, just pause the video and tap into whichever one calls to you. Okay, I'll see you in your reading. Hello, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. Thank you for letting me read for you today and sharing your energy with this message. This message is going to really touch on your connections and relationships, because when we feel like, why does this happen to me? Why does that happen to me? There could be so many things going on, right? Sometimes it's like this person is doing this because they're going through some hardship or whatever and they don't know how to maturely deal with it and it's leading to this. Or like, why do I keep feeling this negativity towards this person? Maybe they're doing something dodgy in the background, right? Or maybe it's just like some past life drama that's still needing to be played out or rested, right? And released. Or maybe it's something else. Maybe it is internal, but it's also external. So it's just to really showcase that not everything is just targeted or about the one. And of course, we generally know that, but as humans, our egos are pretty strong. And so we can forget, we can be like, oh, this isn't for me because I'm on this level, they're just down here, or whatever kind of silly little thing it is. We're all equal, regardless of how old, young, soul-wise you are. I just wanted to preface that at the beginning, because you've chosen Revelation, and it kind of touches in on the religious-y kind of side of what Revelations talks about, right? And though I don't know the Bible or, really am going to dive deep into biblical things, Amitiel is the angel of truth, is like a messenger of truth, right? So this is like to give you some insight. So I feel like you're going to get some really good information from this reading if you've chosen this, intuitively chosen this reading. But also it will hopefully provide some information that can help you progress or move through whatever you've incarnated with, why you've incarnated with these drives or challenges, let's say, like obsessions with something or whatever it is. This is really going to touch in deep on that. And I really like that it's Revelation, because it's like the change, the shift, right? The overhaul of the old. So it's almost like you're here to shake up some stuff anyway. And that can be kind of challenging for some people, because you can come through with like this like happy, loving soul and then be put in somewhere where it's really challenging, right? And so you're here to like shift or shake some of that energy out. And they're not going to give it to someone who's going to find it really easy, right? The ones that is like, okay, bang, 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 unless that's what they wanted. But it's kind of like you've come here to like be put in situations which may seem kind of trivial, sometimes really challenging, but there's purpose and reason behind it. And yeah, it is about what you've connected with, but it may be also with those people that are putting that, or that you find with other people, right? So it's like, this is more like a web. And this one's kind of feeling like family for some reason for a couple of people. Okay, this one just flew out. Diamond in the rough. That's how this feels. The gem is almost like a gift as well. You've been gifted certain qualities to help you overcome something. This is almost turning into like a past life soul kind of reading, but look, that's fine. Some of the stuff that you're being gifted with, like gifts and things like that, and you can be like, oh, these are gifts that are outside of me. No, you've earned those in the past lives. You may have gone through many challenges that have been very similar to what you've gone through in this life to get to a point where you can either break free or to support or assist or to get out of a family cycle, right? Something like that. Like there's definitely purpose and reason here with this gem coming through. So I think calling them gifts is kind of like calling anyone that does anything a gift, right? It's kind of like we all have it. We all have the ability to create whatever we kind of want in this world, within obvious reasons. Like can't really just expand to the size of a planet and then go around floating around the universe. But, you know, within reason, and it'll be also, you'll be called to it anyway. So if you're like, well, I'm 5'1" and you're saying I could be a basketball player, and it's like, well, do you want to be a basketball player? No, then does it matter? Like, you know, what is your core drive? That's really going to be something worth thinking about rather than for argument's sake, right? It's so funny with the king coming through. Look, the king is an interesting card. It's stability, it's strength. It's also, especially next to the gem, it's kind of like mine, like my kind of stuff, like me. This could be revelation-wise truth about yourself and how you think and feel. This might give you some weight off your shoulders even as well. This one's definitely annoying me. Not annoying me, but it was like touching my hand and like wiggling around. So you've got the threshold. This is nice. I feel like you're at a point you're so close to breaking through some old kind of expectation or like self kind of, I don't know what it is. It always feels like toxicity. It's like, I have to be this, or I have to do this, or I'm not this, and then I'm not good enough, or I'm not going to be pleasing these people enough, or something like that. And it's like, you already are here. You've already got everything you need. You already are the king, right? And, you know, even if we are talking about what other people are related, like, this is who you are as a whole. But also, if there is someone in your life who is kind of like the one who feels like they hold like, what would you say, precedence over your life, like, you know, I'll give an example of back in the, I don't know, 1800s maybe, let's say, when it was like, you inherited it based off, well, you based off your gender as well, depending on the country, but generally you inherited, and you could be written out of the will if you didn't follow the rules, right, of whatever the father-mother expectations were, whoever was the controller, and this is the king, so it's probably going to be masculine anyway. This could be where this reading is touching in on. They have kind of like come into this life with you for a learning opportunity, either both sides, one side, all, or maybe like bits of everything. We're definitely not here as just like a solo contract, right? That's why you want relationships. That's why you want children. That's why you want connections and friendships, because we have all these like contracts like out there. And when we're here, if we really were supposed to just run off into the woods and go up there, we wouldn't have that drive for those connections, but we do. Especially if you're here. If you're not here, then you're not here, right? You're up in the mountains, so you're not getting this message anyway. Okay, hope that makes sense. It was a little bit all over there, but this one is kind of like out there. It's kind of like an out there reading. So you've got the exciting card, and on the shadow side you've got bored. It's kind of interesting here. It's, you know, that saying, lighting a fire under your ass or something like that. That's kind of how it feels. Like these people, or some of these people in your life are really here to motivate you. And oh, sorry, there's like a lizard just crawling outside on the tree. It's just distracted me for a second. It looks like a gecko. No, it's not a gecko. It looks like a skink. Oh, maybe it's a gecko. I don't know. Anyway, just a little lizard walking past while doing a reading. It actually kind of looks like how they draw the gecko in tarot, which is like that tail kind of curled up. It like kind of did that when it walked past, which I don't know, maybe it was just trying to balance as it, you know, defies gravity. But yeah, so that always makes me think of protection. It's like there's this person here that has come through with you, and you're kind of, you know, some people will be either like, they'll be friendly for friendly sake, they'll be challenging for challenging sake, they might even be difficult and hurtful, right? And vice versa, you might be hurting each other in different ways. So I would say at a soul level, you might actually be friends, or you might be colleagues, or you might be like soul fam. You're just here to do something. So if you are, I guess this, like, how does this help you? If you are thinking about that and you're like, this person's horrible though, why would I want them to incarnate with me? Well, what do we learn from? We will learn from our difficulties, our challenges. I feel like they're here to help with motivation and pushing for something, maybe finding your own sovereignty and even like telling them off, right? Do you know what I mean? Like telling them that you're not going to put up with X, Y, Z or whatever they're doing. Maybe that's part of it as well. Maybe it's not. Maybe you're meant to go off and work on it yourself and find other people who have done that, and so then you find those new connections. But this is all very much about connections. This is all about overturning adversity in a way. So take that as like relationships, exes, partners. Exes have been popping up so much recently. So yeah, I've talked to a few people where exes have been popping up in their dreams and stuff like that, or just in their mindset of like an old story, and that could be old friends as well. Lots of stuff has been popping up, so this could be a good I wanted to say poster child, but kind of like a good reading to help you overcome something you're so close to finding freedom. And it's a mindset, it's like a heart set, I guess, or a soul set. Like it's from that area. It's not actually like, oh, this will actually set me free. It can't be given to, it can't be taken from someone else. It has to be discovered and realized. You might actually start to see some of your relationships like that. You might be going, oh, I had a problem with this ex, but now I get to see where I've come from with this. So that's what this reading's really about. It's motivation. Okay. Yeah, this would be kind of really hard for some people. That's why this reading, I think, today, if you've made it this far, was probably going to be kind of triggering, right, this reading. That's why I wanted to preface this It's Not All About You as the title, because if it's there, and I was kind of iffy about doing it like that, but it was going to turn away the people that don't want to hear it, basically. They were like, no, I don't need to hear this. Like, it's going to be too much, right? When really, this is great. This is a positive thing. Gratitude. What am I grateful for? This is life is one big continuous circle of giving and receiving energy. Be thankful for who and what is in your life, instead of complaining about what you don't have. If you focus on gratitude, you'll start to attract prosperity and abundance. Yeah, it's hard to grasp this as humans, that we have to do this job to get this. We have to do the hard slog to get this. We have to do this kind of thing. If we actually go towards what we're drawn to and keep our open mind of what's possible, we'll start to see the possibilities and bump into people who will be like, oh yeah, you're really great at this. You could do this, try here. And you'll go on an adventure and a journey where you'll make exactly what you need. You'll always have enough. If you're following like what is in your heart and your truth, you will flourish, basically. Of course, if you feel that that is not true, then you go do it, you're going to create that reality that it's not true. So don't do it. It's a hard thing, but it's almost like you're so close to just like starting to release all of it, starting to let go of all of it. This power is like so close to it. I feel like you've already done it many times and in different ways, but there's like this bigger realization that the whole idea of work your ass off, basically, do all the work, and then maybe it'll happen, right? Maybe you'll get this or that or the other. But this is really about focusing in on passion, design, what you want, what's going to spark that fire within you. That's what this reading is about. And so you might come across people who offer it, who show you a particular way. It's not going to be a quick win thing. Those are going to be traps, right? They're always traps. Okay. For some of you, I think as well, the gems coming through is like diamond in the rough. You were kind of put in a higher sense in a place where a lot of people or like your family had very kind of like, I don't want to say weak mindset. What would you say? Kind of like limited mindset, right? They couldn't see beyond this point. And so you kind of like might have been up here and then kind of got pulled down with it in time, and then you're coming to the threshold of getting back up. And I feel like you don't have to show them by example, but you living your life does actually show the people around you as well. And vice versa, maybe certain people have given you lots of gifts to overcome that. Some of those people that get pulled down into limitation are actually super powerful, right? They're like, they know they know the stuff, like they know it, they just don't believe it. But you can learn from there too and elevate yourself as well. So this is a really deep kind of energetical reading. The relationships and all that is going to be different for each individual. So the examples I use may not be for you, but this is the whole point of this reading, right? It's not all about you. It's going to be different for every single one. So tap into your energy and see how this is potentially relating, maybe a portion of it, all of it. You know, you're the kingmaker, I guess, is how it's coming through. So you're the leader on this. You're the authority. Ready to roll in exciting, loyalty and devotion. I like this. This could change your whole mindset of how you see past relationships, family. Call out things you need to call out, but you won't feel stuck in that old cycle or drama anymore. It's actually really, really nice. So you've got ready to roll and go for it. I don't know what else to say. You're at the threshold. Jump. Normally I was going to grab 2 cards, but this one really wanted to come through. I said it was the one wriggling around. Threshold is, you know how I think in past, like, you pick up the wife, the male picks up the wife, the husband picks up the wife, obviously not just a random male, picks up the wife and takes them over for threshold. It's kind of like to start to begin the new life together, right? So there could be that. You might even be getting married or starting to do something new, or just quitting your job and doing something that you've really been drawn to, and that's going to open up new things. Look, I would say you make your decisions. Of course, this is just what I am kind of seeing, if that relates to you. But you're so close to breaking through an old wall that isn't actually there. It's not a real wall. It's just a perceived wall. Okay. So I want to get deeper into why this reading, basically. But what does that relate to specifically with this pile? Oh, I thought there was a card upside down. Oh, okay, you want to come up? So you've got Temperance. It's kind of a cute Temperance, like this little angel guy with the sun and the moon in both hands, right? Not seeing the light as the only good thing. I think you might even be starting to drop the idea of manifestation being all about me, right? And starting to create a new world. Your service could even be manifesting love into relationships, family, into other people's lives, and recognizing that there's far more fulfillment than I want this, give me this. That was almost like an old school spirituality kind of phase. And it was perfect for the time, right? Because it could show the benefits, and then we're kind of evolved from that. It's constantly evolving, which is probably why it's hard for some other belief systems to see that, because there might be quite strong boundaries, borders, blocks that are hard to overcome. But that's okay. You're not here to force anyone. You're here to do your thing, to open people's minds and to kind of love and support people and yourself, of course. Because while it's not all about you, it's definitely about you as well. Yeah, I've got that King of Pentacles. This is fulfillment. Does he have anything flashy or anything like that? Not really, but he's got his loyal companion. He's got his, like, pentacles in a row, right? And then it looks like they're stacked behind each other, and when it feels like in a row, it's kind of like, I've got what my needs met. I've got my needs met. I've found my slice of heaven, and I've been able to create the slice of heaven on earth through comprehension, understanding, and finding what's important. It's almost like the threshold is overcoming all drama. There's going to be drama, right? There's still going to be, you're still going to miss people as they pass. You're going to lose family, friends, pets, all that kind of stuff. But it's like, it's almost like it's just that overcoming energy, crossing over, overcoming. And you've got the Empress card. That's where this comes in, this birthing new ideas. Especially if you've worked your ass off for a while and you've got to a point, you've gone through the breakups, the friendships, the losses, the parties, the kind of like marriages, love, whatever. If you've got to a point where you're kind of like feeling not stagnant, but just like ready for the next phase, you're absolutely in tuned and correct. This is your time to express your free self, I guess is the best way I can put it. Not sure if I've got that word right, but I hope you get the comprehension, understanding. I feel like some of you are saying yes, we got it. I don't know, it just seems funny. Yeah, you're on the precipice of understanding the connection between many different things. And it's not like you even need to tell anyone, it's just like you understand it, and now you can grow with that, I guess is the best way I could put it. Yeah, the World card, so close, like this is the party time, this is it. What's next with the Three of Wands coming through, really nice. I mean, it's all saying the same thing, right? You've got Temperance of the World, kind of like opposite or like an alignment, I guess. It's an alignment, vertical alignment. It's like moderation and completion, right? This moderation idea, being a co-creator instead of like, I need to bring this in for myself. That's why if I'm manifesting something, and generally I will be thinking and that will create a manifestation, right? But I'll always consciously or even subconsciously remember that this is for my highest good and the highest good of all. The highest truth as well if I'm doing rod readings, like if I've got on the dowsing rods. It's all for the highest good of all. Not just for me. Because we're all connected, and if someone really needs something or wants something that's like for them and that's going to be really helpful for them, then I hope they receive it, right? Even if I'm going for the same job, I hope they get it, because why wouldn't I want someone's growth to propel them? Especially if it's not the best for me, then I don't really want it anyway, even if I think I do want it. Okay, and last card here we have the Page of Pentacles coming through, which is like growth, learning, and I love it with the Empress, right? Birth, and this is creation. It's almost like investments paying off, certain ideas and ways of thinking paying off, and it's interesting because I feel like you're so close that you've already probably crossed it, some of you, or you've like had an idea of crossing the finish line of a particular path. And now this whole new world's opening up, which is fantastic. You don't feel like a pawn, you feel like a creator and a co-creator. You have what you need at the moment to create whatever's in the future for you, right? Or to at least let the river of life flow and just be part of it. The reflection aspect of the past, especially here, is what's being left behind. The past is already the past, right? The past has already been. There's nothing that you can change about it, no matter how much you wish or want to. It's already completed and it's done. So this is getting into the very much now. Very much now. It's not even almost like planning for the future. It's very much now. I'm just looking at it energetically. I'm not even looking at the cards, honestly. Now, this will obviously take time for some of you. Some of you are ready for this to go, and you should take it as you should take it, basically. So you should take this as you see it fits in your life. So I would say this pile is probably one that already knows that they're everything in life, right? And it's not to talk about narcissism. We're not talking about mental kind of like attributes or anything like that. This is really just like, we're all human. We all have these moments of, why has this happened to me? Why did this have to occur? And even the song I'm listening to is a handpan music by Multi Martin Method is the YouTube name. And the hertz is 777. You don't hear it in the background because I want to make sure this message has just my voice coming through, but the sounds are really high vibe, right? 777 feels like that lucky sevens. Like, this is great luck and wealth coming through. And I don't like to sometimes talk about that because people can take it as like money, right? But wealth is like fulfillment, is having exactly what you need. You know, especially if you've had children, you know what it's like to hold the child for the first time. That's not money, but there's like this overwhelming wealth, right, of fulfillment and gratitude and like love. So that's really where we're talking about with this reading. It's getting to the point of, I don't need to keep fighting in this 3D world, right? And struggling and scraping by and hustling. This is more of flowing with the energy. It's almost like very hippie, I guess, but you know, they had some good points back then. Just seeing if there's anything else I need to say. But I would say you have probably already recognized where you begin and other people end, and also why some of the contracts that you've created in this lifetime have come to fruition and have been positive or negative or whatever, right? Sometimes people feel bad when they don't date someone or do date someone, break up for silly reasons because someone else was interested in them that were more interested in, and see that as a negative. It could be seen as a super positive because maybe that person went through, you know, maybe they felt like low or like lesser of themselves, and they were showing that through their relationship with you, even though you didn't think less of them, right? You just were interested in someone else. They were just kind of like there. And then this other, they've met someone else who maybe have gone through that again. And that's this kind of learning self-love, right? And that kind of thing. Maybe you were that other person. Who knows? We play so many different parts in different people's lives. So I just wanted to state that before we finish your reading. Other than that, pile one, you know, you're really on a great path. Follow your heart and desires. That earnest enthusiasm is earnest, right? It's like honest. I'm assuming earnest means honest, right? I don't even know. I don't really use the word earnest, but it's like that really true excitement. It's not just like, oh yeah, I'm so excited about this, and then do a TikTok and like pretend you actually like this thing. No. This is like real heartfelt excitement, and we're talking about this is a big change for you. So well done to you. You've seen the king without getting, you stood into the king energy without getting into the ego energy. Which is perfect. And maybe you did go through that ego path, but this doesn't feel like you're in that cycle now. You're coming to a new cycle, which is going to bring creation and opportunity, learning, and a free, open mindset. So very cool. Good work, pile number one. You know, not that you need my praise or anything like that, but it's really cool. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Hello. Welcome to your reading, pile 2. So you've chosen the Ascended Master Mary Magdalene and the Aqua Aura Quartz with Divine Alchemy. Very cool. Divine Alchemy is literally exactly what I was thinking of when we were doing this reading. Like, how do we connect and why do we connect with certain people? I just want to preface, thank you for letting me read for you as well, and taking your time to get this reading. So I appreciate that, and sharing your energy. The reason this card has come through is very much in alignment with the purpose of this entire reading, right? It wasn't to trigger you. The title was really there to hopefully entice people to get the reading and to ward away from people that are just looking for self-gratification, right? Self-gratification is perfect, but it's like perfectly fine. But this wasn't going to be that type of reading. This is like, why are these people in this life? Why do I feel like this? Why is this kind of thing? Like, where am I at with my comprehension, understanding of the one and being all, and the one being just me? Neither is wrong. All is correct and perfect and in alignment with wherever you're at in this life. But here it shows like the connections and finding purpose and meaning in connections. It can be kind of tricky, especially if we are at a point of wanting to shift away or to change something, right? Or to get out of a particular situation. So either way, it's going to be right, whatever you pick. That's how it feels. So let's take a look at this reading before I get too far into it. There's like misunderstanding here too. Mary Magdalene to me comes across as like very strong divine feminine energy, misunderstood, criticized and judged because of others, or because of misunderstandings, or because of, you know, outright lies, right? It kind of feels like she is someone who would come through to teach people, and it's almost like if you look at her life and how it's kind of taught others, regardless of whether they see her as like, if they criticize and judge her, or if they see her as like a teacher and a learner, regardless, there's learning from that. Even just that story of like different perspectives of people that didn't even know him. No one on this planet knows her, right? No one knows her personally. They didn't know her incarnation. If they did, they're very old, and they should be on TV or something. But anyway, it's kind of that's the whole point of this reading, is to show that there's many misunderstandings and many misdirections about people. And sometimes we have a warped vision. We see someone who comes into our life and doesn't respect us or is rude or anything like that. Absolutely call that out. I'm not saying just recognize it as a bad thing or good thing only. It's kind of like afterwards can be like, why did that come through? Why was that person? What was it trying to tell me in this moment, right? That's self-reflection. That's kind of like where this is. And then you start to kind of co-create. Obviously, if people are being horrible, that doesn't mean you put up with it. You call it out and you speak to it and speak truth into it, of course, but also maybe take a step back after the fact and just reflect on what was the purpose of that? Why was I shaken up? Was it because I wasn't even focusing on what I was doing? In my head, I was in the future and I wasn't thinking about today. Maybe it was just a thing like that. Or was it something else? You know, you never know. But it's okay to reflect on and trust that the answer will be provided to you by your own soul, by your own guides, by source God, whatever you believe in. Okay, let's take a look. I don't want that one, I want this one and this one. Okay, we are getting 3. Okay, interesting cards. So you've got the forest and you also have the hunter here. The hunter is showing a horse. Horse to me makes me think of freedom. This is almost showing like a aura or the aurora, right? Which kind of feels magical in a way, and the forest has like secrets and depth. And the hunter kind of goes into a forest to find and provide for his family, right? So while we can think of hunting as like a negative thing, that's how we got here, right? Hunter and gatherers. We weren't sitting at home going to supermarkets in BC when we were living in caves. There wasn't like, you know, it wasn't Flintstones. You know, we really had to do the thing. So I think this is where, like, not really think it, like, it really feels like this is the whole point of this reading in particular, is about miscommunication, misunderstanding of why things happen to you, why things are going through. It's not just always about you. It's about like other people as well. Like like maybe they were going through something, you were there at that time and they needed to like process something. You can see that and not attach to it, right? If it was something toxic and you don't need to attach to it, it's just like, ugh, this person, and you just will kind of walk away, right? Drop it, leave it. You don't have to, I guess, co-create with that energy. Remember who you are as a divine spark as well. You've got the eternal child. This is kind of reminding me of the magic of life, right? The innocence, the innocent soul who comes down and is like, yeah, I can handle this, yeah, I can do that, absolutely, because I love this soul, and up here I love all souls, everything is love, you know, that kind of thing. It's almost like we're on high on ecstasy or something up there, it sounds like sometimes, but obviously not. That's just how the energy is kind of coming through. So it's like that reminder of like the truth of who you are, not what happens to you or what is done to you. Okay. We've got serene and agitated. You've got the agitated highlighted here, agitation card, and you can even see with the symbols, right? It's kind of like, but this means this, and if this person did this to me, and what about this? And it's kind of like almost creating your own web. If you're doing this now, there's a way through the forest and into the specific, or into freedom. If you're not, then maybe just listen to this message and see what it's trying to tell you. We've got give back as well. This could be just a nice message. Sorry, the cards are going to be covered a bit. Give back says, today is the day to cast aside normal routines and make your main purpose to serve. It is about giving back without the thought or expectation of getting anything in return. Reach out and touch other people's spirits. It is highly likely that someone really needs it today. And that can really come through anything. I'm seeing it coming through as in a super positive way, but even sometimes when, you know, when people call other people out, and not in a way that's like sassy and trying to like drag them in front of a whole bunch of people, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm just like calling out the lie or the BS for what it is. Because they might react poorly, but it plants a seed to help them. So you're really here to be there for others in a way that you may not even realize. Whether that's calling out certain things, whether that's supporting and providing food and shelter, right, for whatever this kind of like situation might be. It can be as big or as small as just smiling and being kind to people in the supermarket. Grabbing down an item off the shelf when someone can't reach, right? Or they're trying to reach it and they can't get it. You know, it makes people's day. Truth revealed, behind the monster behind the curtain. For some people, look, take this as for whatever it is, but for some people, it's understanding that the people that have come into my life who have harmed me, hurt me, or if I'm carrying some kind of wound about, the monster behind the curtain is just seeing it's like, oh, this soul, I recognize this soul. Why were they XYZ? Why was it like that with me and them? Were they horrible? Yeah, maybe in this life they were horrible. But at a soul level, it's like, I see the resonance and the connection, why we decided to play out this path. When we're here, it's so different, right? It's so different when we're here. Up there, we can be like, yeah, I can go through this, that, and the other and be hurt and harmed because I'll know that I always care and love for them anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Now, that doesn't mean you don't call it out for abuse or harm for what it is. However, contemplating and understanding that and reflecting on that may help ease and process some of that out. You know, people are arguing online about forgiveness recently a lot, and they're like, no, I never forgive, you know, that kind of thing. And the forgiveness really isn't about forgiving the other person for what they've done. It's really about choosing to no longer hold on to anger, rage, and hate so I can go live a life that's fulfilling for me. Especially if it's causing twists and turns and knotted guts. It can even, I'll be honest, hate and anger can really manifest into horrible diseases as well. Whether they're mental, whether they're actually physical. So yeah. Oh, especially if you're trying to tap into your abilities too. If you're looking for this and certain things are popping up or certain people or doubts, like your connections are really, really, really important in this lifetime. Your relationships and connections, whether they've left an imprint of something difficult or something loving, they're really, really, really important. Everyone's just trying their best too. So it's hard to say, you know, whatever has played out has been exactly what was kind of envisioned, right? Or contracted, because when we come here, we're like on a living contract that's constantly evolving and changing. As we constantly evolve and change, as everyone in the collective constantly evolves and changes, the earth constantly evolves and change, and etc., going as micro or as macro as you want to. All right, you've got the King of Pentacles. I'm just going to grab all the cards. Yeah, reflection on this too. This is taking some time to reflect. That's why I felt like I needed another card. And how you've overcome adversity to get to here. Focus on your gifts. That's why it's like, you know, with the whole forgiveness idea, not about forgiving others if you don't feel like it, right? Got to be honest and authentic with yourself. This is really about starting to shift the spotlight off them or the situation or who you were into who you are and what you are here to bring and provide in this world. The music's just stopped, so I'm just going to put on another one. This is called Guardian of the Silent Forest, which is interesting because this is the forest. Yeah, look at this. To bring in the new is by processing the old and focusing in on you. It's kind of interesting. It's not all about you, but it it is. Like, it all comes around in circles to not just like, by recognizing that it's not all about me, I get to start to feel the things and find the things that actually bring me joy. So it's like, by focusing on not me, not just me, I actually realize that I get more fulfillment personally by helping or providing or overcoming or like supporting or whatever others. You know, like when you hold a baby for the first time, your child, you know, you don't think about like the future or the past. You're very much in present with like the now, right? I feel like that's why people love that kind of feeling, because they get out of their heads and into their now, into that moment, into that what's happening right here, that beautiful connection with you and the child, your child. Yeah, I love these two sixes being in alignment too. The only way forward is literally forward. The only way to a future where you can find fulfillment is through moving through the now. And I like this too. Look, if you need support externally, that kind of thing, to release some of these old things, this old baggage, do what you need to do. But by focusing on loving connections and focusing on moving past small, large, whatever traumas, challenges that are holding on to you is really going to be where this works out. All those players in this game of life have come through for a purpose, right? Even if they've been the asshole, basically, is what I was trying to think of the word, but I was just like, just say asshole. So, and even if they were like the asshole in your life, you know, they were pretty horrible, shitty, whatever, doesn't have to stop you from being that open, vulnerable, beautiful soul that is already what you are, and start to co-create with new people, with people that you care for, that you love, with God, source, whatever you believe in, goddess, you know, whatever it is. It really is. It's how you find the serenity. So by finding the serenity, it isn't just given to you, it's worked through these knots and weaves, and you are definitely able to process this and recognize what is actually the monster behind the curtain, right? What it actually is, the boogeyman in the cupboard, instead of being fearful of what it could be and what it looks like and what it could do and what it represents. It's opening up that door and shining a light on it. But I love the idea of your reading being really about recognizing all that has occurred in every person that's involved in your life, processing some of that and working with those people if need be, right? Or processing the challenges from the past. It really gets you to a point of starting to focus inwards, and then while the reading's not focusing as talking about, it's not all about you, it really does shine a light. It's like, it is about you because you see yourself in all, rather than I'm just going to do what I think is right and that's it, and I don't care about anyone else. You know, it's that kind of shift in from a toxic kind of energy with it's all about me to positive energy. It's about me, it's about all. So very cool, very interesting reading for you today. Obviously, if you have any messages or comments, if you want to let me know, just let me know. This is very open. This reading was super open, so you might take bits and pieces, but take the themes that really resonate. The theme really here is to process old information, old energies out, recognize that some of those people or souls that I worked with, even if they were difficult, were actually here to grow as well and help me grow, even in challenging ways, but not to stay stuck with it and ruminate with it. It's to find freedom and find a way to let go. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. Thank you so much, pile number 2, for letting me read for you today. Take care of yourself, be kind to yourself and others, and I'll see you next time. Hello, welcome to your reading, pile number 3. So, you've chosen this very interesting one just before I get into the card, but when I was shuffling, there was 2 cards flew out, and I was like, let's have a look. One of them was choices, which really aligns with Angel Caliel, because Angel Caliel generally is represented by justice and making the right choices, and so getting the choices card was really interesting. And then another card flew out, which was the threshold card, so it's like crossing over from the old world to the new. So you may be making decisions or have an opportunity to make a choice that is going to be like really rewarding. Might be scary though, you know how the Fool card is getting close to the edge, but he lives and learns through the challenges. Alright, so you've chosen Angel, Caliel, and Polychrome Jasper with Sacred Play. I also didn't say thank you for letting me connect with your energy today and for allowing me to read for you. Really appreciated. This was not to be a triggering reading. I know the title might have been off-putting for some, and I feel like that was purposeful to weed out some of the people that may have not taken the message as what the message needed to be. It may have actually harmed or like took it in a way that was negative, right? So probably good that they did steer clear of this reading, because it's not going to help them, basically. It's interesting here with Sacred Play. Your connections, again, I think this is how the whole theme of the readings have been, are really important. And so relationships and connections have been key to your evolution on this planet. Always, we really grow more from what we have earned through struggle than what we are given. We learn more from the challenges in life rather than the things that were just easy and smooth. We do want a blend of everything, right? Of course. However, we really grow from adversity when we overcome a challenge. Like when even if you're playing a game and you haven't been able to beat a boss and then you're able to beat it, so much more rewarding than just putting a cheat code and just winning, right? And having invincibility. It's like, well, it was an easy game. There's no challenge. So I feel like that's how we come down into this earth. We want challenges. We want difficulties. We don't want it to be constantly a battle and a struggle, I hope. However, I don't know what your soul goals are, right? I don't know what you've contracted and made. however, this is what we're going to talk to. So you may have had people who were like beautiful, loving, and caring come into your life and then leave your life. Whether that's through death, whether that's through moving away, right? However it's happened, you may have had like really these high situations come and go. So it's interesting we're starting with the high stuff because most people like get stuck with the low energy things. But whatever this is, you're really at a doorway to what's next. And it's kind of interesting because you've kind of had little wacky things. I feel like you've almost maybe had a friendship end too that was beautiful at the start, and then it kind of evolved in a way that was not where you wanted to shift your light, right? So you could see it as a bad thing, but maybe that's exactly what could have happened. But just because it's like about you in that situation, there's also your ability to remove or to leave that kind of connection creates a learning and opportunity for the other side as well, because all our lives, especially with everyone we meet, has some kind of interlocking or intermingling. Some is just very quick, some of it's like long relationships, some are long friendships, some are just work colleagues, right, that we kind of like learn and grow from, I guess, in some kind of way, or we find some peace or whatever it may be. Okay. You may be also close to finding a particular calling in your life. And maybe just for some, it's like you've got hints of it through, like if you were not really overly thinking, but like a therapist or something, like that was something that you've thought about in the past and it's popped up at different times with advice and help with other people. And sometimes that help may have been really helpful and then you wanted to continue and they're like, oh, we're done talking about that kind of thing. I don't need to talk about that anymore. It's like, you still feel a drive and desire to talk about these kind of things. Maybe that's like signs to really get into that training if you're interested in it, right? Because that person that's come in has got the assistance, but they're not interested in continuing. But you're interested in continuing. It's not really that you want to help with this situation. It's more to do with like, oh, this is a desire and a drive. So maybe I should listen to my calling with that. Even if you're in, I don't know, in an office job or something, that doesn't mean you can't shift and change it. We're not dead until we're dead, right? So yeah, anyway. That's probably a lot to come through straight away, but yeah, your reading's interesting. I knew it was going to be a funny one because I looked at it and I was like, look at you pulling the little thread. It's interesting. It feels like a highly evolved being, right? Your soul. So almost like certain parts of your life have been hidden purposefully. You may have gone through a path of not even realizing your divine essence, I guess. Maybe even like non-religious or atheist or whatever. That's not really, like, religion really isn't part of it, like spirituality, right? So, but maybe even just like not interested in any of that stuff. And then you've kind of like come to a point where your soul and guidance and your own kind of like flow has brought this into place, and now you're starting to see things completely different to how you thought the world worked. And that's okay. Maybe you're not there, maybe you are, but it just kind of feels like that's where the thread's coming through. It's like seeing connection between all things. Yeah, you've been here a few times. I don't know if it's like Earth, but you've definitely been incarnated, or maybe you've just been around. You could be a spirit guide as well up there. Like an aspect of you might be a spirit guide for other people or other beings in other places or whatever. Yeah, you're starting to see the magic that is you and not just the circumstances of who you are, right? So it's not like I'm this because this happened to me. I'm this label because I wear these kind of clothes or look this way or identify this. It's like the labels are great, but it's like you're so much more than that. And I think you're really coming to terms with what that may be. So it's interesting. I think you're starting to see the connections with all things. So yeah, it really isn't about you because you're starting to like understand, oh, if this person didn't come into my life, then I wouldn't have learnt this skill or overcome this adversity or started to work on my own self-love, right? Yeah, interesting. You've got the mystic, the crone. Goodness. And the thread. The thread is so interesting to me because it's like they're starting to pull a thread that unlocks and unravels like a secret, right? And then we've got the mystic, which is mystical, but also like magic man, or like not magic man off Adventure Time. No, like that kind of like wacky kind of mystic in a way. And then we've got the crone, who is feeling more like of intelligence, right? And understands the lay of the land and the energy of the elements and stuff like that. So this is like spiritual magic, and then we've got like earth magic here. It's not exactly how it is, but just that's the energy that I'm receiving. Okay. So this is definitely not what I thought. But definitely coming to a point of maybe you've just woken up in a particular way and you're like, let's try some things out. I would definitely trust your inner guidance with this. Get out of the head and into the heart, and you'll make the right decisions, because you've made many decisions like this in the past. Even if you think this is a huge decision for me, it's like, this is nothing to what you've overcome, even in this life, and especially in past lives. Stagnation is not for you. Otherwise you'll get like, do you remember that Wipeout game where the motivator came in and booted the person? You're going to get the boot in time, or maybe you've had the boot many times. So yeah, this is your opportunity to take this step rather than get the boot over. But you're coming along anyway. Coming along for the ride. Growth and discovery, very cool. This is such a different reading to the theme, it feels. But I feel like that's your process at this time, is like learning, growing, understanding, discovering, researching. Like it's all very much so different to the past. Like you may not even recognize who you were to who you are now. Like if you went back in time, asked like 2-year-old you, not 2-year-old you, 2 years ago you, like where would you be? Like, and where you are and how you think and feel, it's like wouldn't have been on the radar. Harmony and love between all things. The joyful crossing of paths. It's so interesting because it feels like you're going to start to really connect with so much different stuff. So many different things. It feels really exciting. I don't know why I feel excited, but it feels exciting. I'm excited for you, basically. It's like out of the black and white world and into whatever's next, whatever's possible and whatever's new. Might even start to meet some wacky characters. You might even actually meet someone who other people can't see. I don't know why that's coming out. Look, take that with a grain of salt, because I'm like, what? But they might be like, look, I'm just going to talk to it and just take it with a grain of salt. But you might meet someone who you kind of ignore, or like as a human you'd think, oh, I don't want to be around this person because they might be like, you know, drunk looking or like a bit weird looking or something. I don't know, old and haggard or whatever. I don't know. Look, I'm just saying. And that is actually going to be someone who teaches you something. So I don't know. Look, take that with a grain of salt. I keep saying I don't know because it's just a very weird thing to say. I don't want you going up to homeless people and asking them if they're your spirit guide, right? You make your decisions. Abandoned. Yeah, you've definitely gone through some shit in the past. I wonder if you've overcome it. I mean, you'll know. But if you've done that, well done. I feel like a lot of people are doing this a lot younger now, and they're just so much more advanced, it feels. Well, I say that, and then you'll see people doing silly shit, right? And then you're like, But I feel like as a majority, people aren't just sitting plainly in stagnation. and just accepting what's in front of them is like truth, right? They're starting to look into their own life, and I feel like you're a part of that. You're actually here to pump that into maybe even your generation. So interesting. All right, I think this came out for pile 1, I think, from memory. But you've got gratitude. It says, life is one big continuous cycle of giving and receiving. Be thankful for who and what is in your life instead of complaining about what you do not have. If you focus on gratitude, you'll start to attract prosperity and abundance. Love that. I mean, that's just true. Basically. I do this every night when I go to bed. I say I'm grateful for having a roof over my head. I'm grateful for, you know, safety and food in the house, for living in a place where I can feel comfortable and safe and don't feel stressed or worried about what's going to happen. All that kind of stuff, right? For being able to stand and get out of bed, because not all people can do that, right? To have hot water whenever I want it. Having running electricity, you know, all those kind of things. It's just like, they may seem minor, but it gets your heart into a good space. Instead of lack, it gets it into light. Yeah. The song I got playing in my head was it's a song, I'm a Woman on a Mission, but regardless of your gender, it's like, I am a woman on a mission. I think it's like Kelly Rowland, right? Maybe. No, maybe I've got that wrong. Look, anyway, the Knight of Swords definitely is on a mission. Like, he or she or whoever is running towards this bike. It's like, it's kind of like they were ready, and then they were like, and then they're like, okay, I'm going to go for it. And the bike's already starting to move, and so they're chasing after it. They've got their priorities straight, focusing in on what they want. This is really good. This is going to be really helpful for you, Pile 3, to really focus in on what brings me peace, joy, and light, and how can I spread that light around the world. I would say don't think about how you would spread it around the world. How do you light up the pocket of universe that you live in, right? The pocket of the world you live in, your house, your family, and then it will naturally start to radiate out, because other people will see that the wall was never there, and while we all pretended like the wall was there because we assumed the wall was there, and if anyone questioned it, we didn't want to be laughed at or ridiculed. It's like those games where they do pranks and a buzzer will go off or something, and everyone will grab a mask, and then the target, right, will be like, what mask? And it's like, oh, and then they start to panic, and there's nothing wrong, like nothing's happening. You know, that's the kind of thing. I mean, you'd probably panic a little bit about that. But there's also like one where there's a color that pops up and it's green, right? For everybody, it's green. And everyone's like, it's red. And then the other person says, no, it's green. And then everyone in the room laughs at the person's like, it's red. And then they pull it down, and then they pull up another one, and everyone's like, it's red, right? And everyone says it's red, and he's like, okay. And then they pull up another one, and it's like another green. And then they ask him only, and he's like, it's red, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, it's red. And everyone claps. And so it's like, but it's not. So, you know, it's just funny. We kind of like get into hive. I don't want to say hive mind, because that's going around at the moment. It's like a negative thing. As a collective, we are kind of like a hive mind. We are also individuals. So both can be true at once. But anyway, I feel like you're a breaker of illusions. You should be. You're a mystic and a crone, right? Yeah, there is some work to do. That's why I was like, there is some stuff that I was feeling. Have you overcome some of the stuff? Like, overcome some of the things in the past, right? I didn't really talk to the abandoned cards so much, but finding your peace and belonging is an internal thing. And then when you radiate that, you'll start to find it externally. Instead of like, I just want anyone to be friends with, you'll start to attract people that resonate depending on what you're calibrated to. So there is some kind of like baggage from the past, especially if you were actually like abandoned, right, or left alone or felt abandoned. Like that's a hard energy to feel, because it kind of feels like that when we get put here. We feel like we have no connection with source. We have no connection to our spirit guides, or it's such a like nuanced thing that it feels like it's fake almost, because it's so subtle. It's like when little kids can see ghosts and stuff like that, or talk to their past grandparents, and then the parents get upset or freaked out or whatever and start to yell at them or whatever. Like that's traumatizing, right? But just because they don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. Just because the majority of people don't see it. Just because the majority said that the green card was red and they just agreed with it, doesn't mean it's red. It's green, right? See, like if color blindness was normal, let's just say, then everyone would think that, oh yeah, this is the colors. And so other people that could see beyond those, weren't colorblind, they could see the extra whatever. There's many different types of colorblind, so I'm not going to go deep into that. But just so, for an example, doesn't mean that they're wrong, right? They can just see through or see more of what the vibrancy of what's on offer, I guess, in the color spectrum. Love that Ace of Cups. What else do you need to hear regarding this reading? Pile 3. Wow. It's going to take some time. I think you can have like a really fun aspect of this. Like there's a lot of play here. I know you've got sacred play, but like even these two are just enjoying the life in harmony, right? There's a lot of support, I feel, as well here. So if these haven't resonated as in this is part of you with the crone and mystic, then you can see that as very powerful guides. And even if you do relate to the crone and mystic, you still have powerful guides, right? Well, guides are powerful. Nothing is more powerful or less powerful. It's just like different, life isn't more valuable. Regardless of what you think, life isn't more valuable for one person to the other. We can be more connected to someone like our child or like our partner, but their lives are just as important as anyone else's. It's a long road to get to that kind of trust and belief, but I feel that's true. So we've got the Page of Wands, the 7 of Swords, and the 4 of Pentacles. This is going to be a mission, I guess, or like an uncovering. You pull the thread, you'll start to open up some of the doorways to other realms or other realities, other belief systems, and then you'll have to decide what you do with that. Do you stick with what you already know? Do you stay in the shadows? Either way, it's going to be your choice. Do you hold on to what you find is sacred? That's what you were told is true. I would say when you feel like that, when you feel like almost a self-deception or holding on to something that you want to keep as true, open your heart space and listen to your heart. Be open. It's okay to stay with whatever you believe in and that kind of thing, but be open to what's possible. That'll help you not get blasted by reality hits, right? Slap in the face by reality. You'll be open to it, and it's like, oh, of course that's possible. May not be something I believe in, but if they're believing in that and it's happened for them, then that's perfectly possible. I would say just have some fun out there as well. Be grateful, have some fun, play, enjoy certain aspects of life, discover, get into that awe-inspiring mind, right? With this card here, you've got the Page of Wands and the Knight of Swords. These feel like really good couplings in the sense of going towards what drives me, what entices me. And it's like, but I don't know what that is. And it's like, okay, well, what is it? Listen to your heart. What does it sound like? It's hard to connect with my heart. What is blocking it? Really connect with that. What do other people connections or relationships, what have they taught me? What have I missed when I've been in a relationship that was suffocating? And how did I get through it? You know, really look through, like maybe do some kind of like quick review of certain things that will help you identify what is needed to be let go of, that needs to be looked at, because this is going to help you get into your freedom, basically, and out of this energy of stuck and just being a soul that just wanders, right? I hope this reading has helped. It's kind of been an all over the place reading, but that's kind of like how collective readings have been lately for me. But if this has helped, feel free to subscribe and like if you've enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Personally, you can just, there's like an email address you can connection if you want to, or you can even just write a comment and I will respond when I get around to it. But otherwise, take care of yourself. Thank you for letting me read for you, and I'll see you in the next reading.